Welcome one and all. We're just about to get started. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. Welcome absolutely everybody to round 12 at the Circuit de la Sarthe, otherwise known as LeMans. As you can see, Ismail Yakubu going through Porsche curves, coming onto Corvette curves now. It's a blistering hot day in, well, it's a blistering hot day in Ireland anyway. And for quite a lot of the content as well. Hopefully guys are staying inside, nice and cool. As always, I am joined by the man himself. Craig, how are we?
I'm good, thank you very much. I'll tell you what, it is very hot right now at Le Mans land. What a way to finish the season with 110 Fahrenheit, that's 43 Celsius around here. And it's the last week of the season, and the two people that had a chance for the Dollary Do Sweepstakes Championship, we never got a name for it, aren't here.
I mean, we can make do with the people that are here. Still some good names. Sam Blackwood, Ishmael Yakubu, James Clay, Robert Edward, and Josh Mills. They're all here. And Connor Pearson's here. Car number 30.
Also, I was about to say, have you seen, we've also got some good names in the HPD field. Timo Hayden coming in. Maria Holrek coming in as well. Also got some other good names there. Jamie Lee Mayers we've seen before. And it's the same really for the GTEs. Andre Melcher, the top-rated guy here. Jorge Barrio there as well. So, and Rainier Talva. So some good names everywhere. Just looking, because the GTEs, they only really get one shot at this. And Melcher, we already mentioned, well, he is the highest I-rated driver in this race. And he's kind of proved it, busting out a 3:49 almost flat in a quali lap in these temperatures, which is really impressive. Talva can only come half a second behind him. So that just shows how good that lap was.
We have on board with Timo Hayden going through Mulsanne up towards Indy. Going flat as ever. The sun has actually gone behind the clouds now at the virtual Le Mans. What are your expectations for today? Well, I mean, it's almost guaranteed that the man by the name of Connor Pearson will get the prize of $20 dues for, I don't know what reason, but he's got a reason for it.
Yeah, he might have a reason. I'm just looking. I looked at it before. 13 LMP1 cars. And 4 of them are Audis. And the Audi has really good top speed. And that's about it. About 340 kilometers per hour is what they'll be going down the straight, the first part of the Mulsanne straight. And that'll be their top speed. In retrospect, an Audi will only go about 330. So you think to yourself, well, top speed's going to be better, but the Audi just has that advantage around here with its braking, with its regeneration. It's going to be the popular choice here, but they are going to be even, as we can see. It's not exactly all bells and whistles, because a Porsche is on pole, and as I say that, Munoz takes pole by 2 seconds from Nordman. But there is some competitive aspects. Well, not competitive aspects, some competitive cars right here. 2 of the top 6 in quali at the moment are Porsches. Now 2 of the top 7, as I say that. I'm going to shut up because it keeps changing in the LMP1s.
you keep getting yourself cut off, or you keep cutting yourself off with the changing in standings, as 2 Audis just posted a 318.
What do you expect? They are 3rd one as well, as Munoz with a 318.044, Ismail Yakubu with a 318.176, and Kostin Stanin Solzenberg with a, sorry about that, 318.852. They are all a second or 2 seconds ahead of P3, which is Till Nordman in one of those Porsches.
Going through the list pretty quickly, James Clay. Yes, it is. I got it right. James Clay with a 325. Connor Pearson, 326. Robert Edward, 326.5. So he just 1/100th of a second separated the 2 of them. Josh Mills with a 327. Sam Blackwood at 329. With Tyler Maxson at 321.
Yeah, we've got a bit more time as well with the HPDs. There are 4 drivers who did not set a time, but Oscar Cooper will take pole with a 3:32.554. Timo Hayden behind him with a 33.768, and then 2,000th of a second behind Timo is Alexis Fedori with a 33.770. Peter Grauels a 34.697. And close behind him with a 34.988 is Maria Holrek. Suela Almeida, a 35.313. Victor Gert, a 36.264. Jamie Lee Myers, a 36.883. And in the order they will be starting in, because they did not qualify, Lorik Davis Braun, Martin Statman, and Mikhail Bonek.
Go quickly through the GTEs. Andre Melchers with a 349 flat. Talvar with a 349.5. Kutz with a 349.8. Askov 351.8. Fidalgo with a 352 point.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Welcome to Le Mans. You got an almost 4-minute track for the GTEs and 8 minutes of qualifying. So, fortunately, the GTEs only get 1 lap around here. That's being rectified for the 24 hours with a 25-minute qualifying. But for the GTE, it's 1 shot, and if you don't make it, well, that's it. So, fortunately, we do have a few that did not start. Jorge Barrio, Pablo Arajo, Martin Nedlik, Alexandru Relianu, Andres Delgado, Justin Rem, Christopher Heinemann, and Reese Newland. That is the order they will all be starting, because it is done by IR. They are coming around the Porsche curves into the karting S's right now. Any predictions?
We're on board with Robert Edward as they come onto the Corvette curves. By the way, this section is Corvette, but everybody just calls it Porsche curves because, well, it's one set of curves, and might as well just call them
No, this is karting. This is karting. Corvette is the little kink they come up to in a minute. It goes Porsche, then it's karting, then it's a Corvette as they come here, and they will go for the Ford. Now you watch, the pace car will go in early. This is key. The pace car will go in early, but Paulo Munoz will have to wait on this. As we now, that is Corvette they've just been through. And now they come down, and look how slow they're going. You can hear the engines. That is the tricolor. The tricolor going over like it does every time it's Le Mans. Every time. If you race this all week, you hear that every time. Munoz, they're going one at a time, as respect. Coming out, coming part of the first part of the Ford chicane into the second. Munoz He goes for it as they're green. Munoz takes the lead from Jakobu, Stoltenherd until Nordman. It's all single file at the moment for the LMP1s, and Munoz puts a second lead ahead of everybody. We're going to have to wait round the back here. Jakobu keeps it there, Salzburg. It should be all side by side here, but it looks like there's a car want to make a move. Pearson wanted to make a move, could not make a move. Still, all side by side. It's 1-1-1-1-1-1. They're all just single file. They have so much respect for each other, but it's Munoz with a second lead as they're about to hit Terre Rouge and the big speed as they come to the Mulsanne straight.
Let's have a look at the GTEs now. He's flying off the start-finish line, so he has absolutely no trouble whatsoever. As the P2s of the HPDs just going through the Dunlop chicane into the S's.
I'm about to say a little bit
on towards Terre Rouge. Sorry.
I was going to say there's a little bit of an incident at the start there for Victor Gert. He actually lost it hitting the red sausage on the Ford chicane, and he's at the back 2 seconds behind. But it looks like there's been a slowdown. Yeah, a slowdown there for Mikael Baunek, so he'll get a place back there. And he's also got GTEs almost catching him right there. But it's still Oscar in the lead right now with Timo Hayden behind him. And this is going to be a close fight because we've seen these two race before. It's going to be nothing but fun with these two. They could be trading. And it looks like Alexis Fedori is also involved. So these three are actually carving a 2-second lead. So they will be looking at fighting all against themselves there. And hang on, where's Jakobu? Where's Jakobu? Jakobu is down to 9. What's happened to Jakobu?
What has happened to Jakobu? What has he gone? Did he get a slowdown?
I think he must have got a slowdown. He got a slowdown going into Terre Rouge. Yeah, the slowdown into Terre Rouge. So he is.
He's trying to fight his way back up, though. He is in the mix between himself, Tyler Maxson, and Alexander Gerber, fighting for 9th position now as a gaggle of 5 race up towards Indianapolis. As Tyler Maxson and Sam Backwood coming towards Indianapolis, still side by side, as Sam Blackwood fights on the inside line coming in towards Indianapolis. Sam Blackwood yields the position to Tyler Maxson, but he is back on the fight again, coming on the outside towards... He's coming on the outside towards Arnage. He doesn't make the move. He cuts the corner very harshly. He might have a slowdown there. You think he does.
Looks like it. That was some really close racing. I thought they were going to touch up on stage. I'm just looking up ahead now, and it looks like Maxson is going to make a move on Josh Mills, and he does just before they come into the Porsche, but they're side by side. They almost touch, and Mills has to make an evasive maneuver there, almost going onto the gravel. Loses 2 spots from that, as now Jakobu wants that spot that Tyler Maxson has there. But at the front of the field, it is still Munoz with Stoltenberg. Munoz has put a 3-second lead on right now. That is how well he is driving.
He wants to get away quick, and he wants to get away quickly now as they come towards Ford curves on the Ford chicane. Quite clean first lap for the LMP1s. It's pretty close racing. No tears as of yet, but it's still nice, clean racing.
And there's been an overtake for the lead in the HPDs as Timo Hayden took the lead. I'm going to guess that must have come during one of the long straights. He always does have this. He's got some great straight line speed as well as when he's tucking in behind. He will take the lead and actually puts almost a second lead as he comes out the Ford chicanes on Oscar Cooper there, and he will have to try and keep some sort of slipstream as they come into the Dunlop curve. That's a great move by Timo. I think he may be able to keep that for the rest of the race, but we will have to see because it's Le Mans. You don't get off tracks, you get slowdowns.
A lot of slowdowns, and if you're very unlucky, it's an off track and a slowdown.
Speaking of another lead change, Rainier Talvot took the lead in the GTEs, and in fact, as Andre Melcher, did he have a slowdown? Yeah, he had a slowdown, so the leader had a slowdown coming into the end of the lap and has lost 3 spaces. It's going to be 4 now, as he's going to be 5th place going into the Porsche, going into Dunlop, sorry. So the leader, they're losing it. So the leader has been changed hands in the first lap on 2 of the 3 classes. Meanwhile, in the main class, the LMP1, the leader's just basically on his own now.
We're second. We're seeing a replay now of Andre Melcher coming into the Ford. Oh, he might have cut it too far coming into the first section. Oh, he bounced, and he's serving his slowdown on the main pit straight.
it's always tough, especially when you get it at Terre Rouge. And that first lap as well, you've got so much issue with it doesn't recognize your speed because it's a brand new lap. So it doesn't realize, and you have to actually literally almost be on the brake and being no speed there. But Melcher does go for the slipstream, does take P3, is that P3? Yeah, takes P4 back, sorry, I beg your pardon, from Pablo there, and is on his way. And it's quite a mixed field at the moment. We've got a Ford there who he's just taken part there, which is Nicholas Askoff, 3 Ferraris, and then a gaggle of Porsches.
You just see the Porsches in the background. Andre Melcher has a lot to make up. He's coming up to Mulsanne 2, second chicane on the main straight. Do you see he want to get some distance between himself and Nicholas Askov in the number 7 Ford? He doesn't. Coming out nice and cleanly onto the Punadire. I still don't know how to pronounce that, but I at least got the name somewhat right. On towards Mulsanne.
I still call it the Mulsanne. It's the end of the Mulsanne straight right here. Is Melcher's, and coming to the end of the Mulsanne straight, and we'll come to the Mulsanne corner. Is gaining time though. The Ferrari, everyone always sleeps on the Ferrari ever since the patch, but I'm pretty sure the Ferrari still has the top speed. Always was in the GTE, GT3, sorry. I think it still does a little bit in the GTE, but as they go on the middle of the track, and I don't know why, it's an iRacing thing. You sit in the middle of the track, you're faster, whatever. But Melcher's looks like he's got the run here. He will take the inside line. They'll go side by side in Indy. Askoff and Melcher go side by side. Will he hold it? In fact, Askoff just decides, you know what, take it. You've got it. He takes it, and he actually gains a bit of a lead there, half a second, as Askoff just plays it safe. Gets a 1x there for going over the gravel, but that's nothing too much to worry about. You don't get a slowdown there. And a bit of a nice rumble over the rumble strips there as he takes P3, keep P3, and now he's going to defend it as they come to the final straight of the lap.
A position update, by the way. Timo Hayden has lost the lead. He is now back down into second place and is under threat by Alexis Fedori. And coming up to Dunlop Curve, coming into Dunlop Chicane. They are being very cautious. They don't want to brake too hard. It's a very hot track out there. Tell us the temperature of the track.
Well, it's actually gone down now. It's 42 Celsius. For anybody else, that's 108 Fahrenheit. So it's a hot track, but it's nothing. It's about the same as what everyone's been racing, and that's a slowdown for Timo. Just to say, that is a definite slowdown there for Timo there as he came into Terre Rouge. Looked like he just took a bit too much of the inside of the outside curve there. Be interested to see if he does get a slowdown. He
might not have a slowdown. He might have just barely gotten away with it. But his gap is increasing to the car ahead of him, Cooper. Cooper is now 1.2 seconds ahead of him. Will he be able to make back up the time lost for going wide coming onto the Mulsanne straight from Terre Rouge? Remains to be seen, but he needs some very late braking as he's trying to weave to prevent much use. Well, he can't even really weave at this point. He has to keep on the backside of Cooper and try and get back up towards him and try and claw back some distance. And as a result,
I was going to say, sorry, this is the battle of wings right now. I think you can adjust the wing in the HPD, I'm not sure. But Fedori's not gaining a lot of time with the draft there, which I'm quite surprised to see. So maybe there's something that Timo's done to that car. We know he's a very versatile driver. He's one of the best HPD drivers that in the last couple of years. So he does lose a little bit of time there. But I mean, with that much straight that Alexis has had, you would have thought he would have had a chance to actually make a move on those Mulsanne straights, and he had to do it down the Gulf Straight. So be interesting to see what he does, but he may have missed his chance this lap.
As he's taking the inside line, coming up towards Indy, as Fedori tries to go around the inside line, or the outside line going towards inside of Indianapolis. Not a lot of drama there. He pulls back. Let's come around Ascari up towards Porsche Curves on the final straight up towards Porsche Curves for completing a lap. There's no drama here at the moment.
Yeah, there's no drama at the moment either in the LMP1s. Stolzenberg actually just went purple, and he went purple by a lot. He did a 319.6 in these conditions when Munoz only did a 21.5. In fact, everybody was doing 21s there. There was only one driver that did not record a lap under 21, apart from, only Jacobu and Stolzenberg did it. So Jacobu, the moment in P6, still struggling here. Really have to put those laps in. If he can keep doing those 20s, he might gain it back. But is there any battles in front of him? Well, James Clay is fine in P3 at the moment. Connor Pearson is breathing down Till Norderman's neck. But like we were saying, Norderman's in an Audi, in a Porsche. Pearson's in an Audi. Norderman will get about 10 kilometers faster on the straights, but Pearson is going for it. With the slipstream, he's hitting that 340 that Nordman would do. So because he can't get any slipstream, Nordman, Pearson is now on it. Half a second as I started talking to you. If he gets a good exit out of the first chicane, and he does, he will be able to get a decent line into the second chicane, and he might make a move at the bottom of Mulsanne.
Shout out to Horatio Calquin. It says "Que pasa?" I think that's "How are you?" in Spanish.
See what he does here. 0.5, 0.4. It's just turning around there. It's 0.4 now. So Connor will not get an overtake on this part of the track. And now it becomes a bit interesting with the boost. A lot of people do different boost strategies on this final part of Mulsanne for setting them up for, I call it the Toyota Straight. Apparently its official name is now the Golf Straight. But whatever it is, the fourth straight that they go through right now. This will be interesting to see what boost pattern both of these guys do, and I think Connor's got a bit more boost. He does.
Just passing along the outside casually, coming towards Indianapolis.
Nice and easy, that wasn't it? Not even any things or so. Was Nordman out of boost, or is he just on a different strategy? So let's just keep this battle going at the moment, because let's watch as they come out of Arnage and just see what Till's got. Because maybe he didn't have enough boost there and he's using it all up for this last straight. We will see, but I don't think he can. And this straight isn't long enough either for the Porsche to use its top speed, so he's going to struggle. He does actually have a bit more boost, but I don't think it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. And actually, he's got Jacobu now breathing down his neck. So it's the little Porsche that could this week, and he's struggling.
Remember when we were saying that it's all about that little Audi that couldn't? The races where it's all been stacked in the Porsche's favor. Now it's the opposite. The Audi is the favorite, especially at Le Mans. It's kind of its home turf, really, at this stage, you know. Shout out from Horatio to Paulo Munoz. Vamos, vamos, he says.
Right, we have a teammate on teammate battle right now in the GTEs. The Euronics, not the Euronics, I don't know why I'm saying that. The Nicholas Coetz and Andre Melchers. Melchers just took back P2. He started pole and he's just taking back P2 with the slipstream there. So the two teammates there, I wouldn't say, I don't know if they're working together or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if Melchers just allows him just to get a bit more slipstream at the end a bit later, because if they can work together and just keep doing the slipstream, they might have a chance to catch Talbot. He is 2 seconds ahead at the moment.
If they could leapfrog effectively, that might be able to work for them, but I'm not sure if you even have a straight long enough to be able to pull that off effectively. If it was the old back straight circuit layout on Mulsanne Straight where it was just one giant straight piece of road, maybe then that would work, but you'd have to pull it off with real precision to be able to do leapfrog here with slipstream.
I mean, it's not like it's Fuji. I mean, you know, the Fuji straight is so long. You could do an overtake at the start of the straight and then you lose the position at the end. But there you go. Coet just holding around the back there of Melchers, just holding on, slowing down a bit. They have got something, and that looks like Askov in the background has taken P4. Is that Askov? Yeah. Going into Indy, taking P4 away from Arajo. So overtakes going on everywhere. And Jorge Barrio is right behind them as well. So we're going to see these pockets of battles because of the way Le Mans works with these long straights. So three-way battle at the moment for P5, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to see a two-way battle for second and third. And maybe those two in second and third are going to work together to try and get back up to Talvar. But that's the way it is at the moment in the GTEs. And it's really looking good there. Actually, Talvar was slower out of the three as well in the last lap. So it'll be interesting to see the times now.
Come right through the 3 of 4, 5, and 6 in GTE class. The car number 7, 8, and 4. Nice and flat. They come out of the Porsche curves into Corvette. And then onto the Ford chicane. Will the car number 8 try and make a move coming in? He's thinking about it. He has the car sticking out kind of in a...
he didn't.
In the thinking emoji way, sort of, I could have a little bit of a bite of this, but oh no!
Oh, slow down!
Ascot has a slowdown. He cut the Porsche curves way too. Let's see now. Does he cut it? Does he cut? He does. I think he cut the inside a bit too much, and now has to serve a slowdown. He has now lost 2 places in as many seconds.
Meanwhile, we've got a rocket ship fired into the sky right now in America. At the same time, Arajo is blinking. Is he being abducted by aliens? You've got to ask that because he was blinking a bit there, and I was a bit worried for him as he was going in and out quite a lot. Keeps P5, and now Barrow, Jorge, had a great move. Surely that must mean that Arajo had a slowdown there. My word, what is going on with the slowdown? But he has just given up P5 so easily and losing so much time, so that has to be a slowdown right now. So, I mean, this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th is basically a battle of who doesn't want to mess up.
To be fair, now, it's better to have slowdowns and off-tracks, especially for little intransgressions such as these. I think that does also enforce a better driving style, because you don't want to get a slowdown. It's much more punishing that way.
Definitely. Just want to keep an update. HPD, Timo Hayden has taken P2 back. Did that just before Indianapolis on Alexis. So these two are literally going neck and neck. Now the issue is they're going neck and neck. I don't think they are working together to try and catch up to Oscar here. Oscar's built a 3-second lead right now, and he was a second faster than both of them last time around. So I don't think they'll work together here. They just want to fight it out for this position.
Timo nice and flat, coming out of the Porsche curves onto Corvette. No issues whatsoever to report at the moment. There's been no retirements. Cross my fingers. There's been no retirements reported. Oh.
But I'm not sure where. As Martin Needlick, I don't know what happened to him. But did he even start the race, actually? Well, he didn't set a time, so I have no idea what happened to the poor guy. But apparently he did line up, and he must have had a crash. Oh, yeah, I think he had a crash. No, he didn't actually start. I beg your pardon. So, interesting. But just an update on the LMP1s. Jacobu did take P5, lost P5. Must have been a slowdown, or must have been the Porsche power, the Till Nordman. But they're coming down now into the Mulsanne corner, and Nordman is ahead of Jacobu. But again, we have seen him with a little less boosting, a little less top speed coming out of here. They hit to the Gulf Straight, so we'll watch this time right now. Will Jacobu make a move straight away? No issues there. Just a little bit hesitant unless he was going to make a little cut on the little apex there of the corner, but doesn't. So Jacobu takes back his P5. But he's lost a lot of time, so obviously they must have had a slowdown because, hang on a second, Nordman wants to just go for it. No. Wisely backs out of it.
And he sends it in, and hits the both hit the wall. They both hit the wall. Hopefully there's not too much damage on either car, but they have both lost valuable places. And Jacobu's pulling in. He's parking it.
Done. Yeah, he's done.
Let me have a look at this. I want to see this again on the chopper view.
I mean, you can watch it. All I can say is you don't make a late move there.
As on the replays. They're coming down towards Indianapolis now. The absolute lunge on the inside, and he doesn't hold it. The car number 31 does not hold it. And that forces Ishmael to correct himself. And, I mean, quite honestly, it's a very dangerous move to make there. He tried holding it, and he just slid coming into Indy. Meaning, Yakubu parks it.
I don't see much damage there, but I don't want to be biased or anything, but that is not a move you want to be making. Especially when you're 20 minutes into an hour-long sprint. He knew he was slower there, I think, and just wanted to send it. And I cannot believe that someone would make that move. And you can see Yakubu had no choice. He had to basically just keep going straight, because if he turned, they both would have got collected, and it would have been a lot worse damage than just those two tapping a little wall of tyres. So, really weird decision there. But now Josh Mills is behind Nordman. Nordman is now in P7. And Tyler Maxson takes the P5 spot there. Mills may be able to catch him. At the same time, Gerber is there as well. So they might be able to do. He might be able to do something here. As we've seen, Nordman is slow coming into the Golf/Toyota straight.
They consistently weaved, and you see in the car of Nordman, when we're just in the cockpit view of Josh Mills, he slams it up into 6th gear. The very rare 6th gear in this Audi, as he holds a very wide line coming into Mulsanne 2. You can see in his view, he can see Nordman hounding the rear end of Robert Edward as they come up towards the first leg of traffic of the GTEs. They need to clear these to be able to have a clear shot of battling each other in peace, in relative peace anyway.
I've just been looking as well. Just been looking at all these cars going through. The exits of the chicanes are where you've really got to pay attention when it comes to lap traffic here, because these GTEs will want to take the middle line, as I was saying. For some reason, the way the track is scanned and the way that the sim works, the GTEs will stick to the middle of a track because it's faster for them, because of that real world, the real road, real road asphalt, the little lip.
Sam Blackwood side by side as Gerber goes around the outside, making it 3. He made it 3 wide going towards Indianapolis. The final kink before Indianapolis came around. Sam Blackwood, Alexander Gerber side by side going into Ascari. Sam Blackwood loses this position. Sam Blackwood is now up to 9th position. Sam Blackwood is now under attack from Gerber again as they come towards Porsche curves. Does Gerber hold it? No, he doesn't. He backs it. Does he try and send it on the inside? No, he's going to stick behind going through the Porsche curves. There's GTEs everywhere.
Oh, no, Sam, that's a tight one to make a move there, Sam. Really tight to make a move there. And now Mills held up. You do not want to be around traffic and racing as you come around the Porsche. A little bit of a tap there, but I don't think it's much damage by Blackwood on, I think that was Christopher Heinemann. I'm not entirely sure, but that is such a horrible place to be caught up with traffic. All those guys have lost a second there, and that's Gerber going into the pits. That's a bit early, isn't it?
The pit window would just be about open. It'd be a tight fit, but you can do it. If he wants to undercut the traffic as it's coming up now, it might make sense to do it. But as he gets into the pits, he will come out in 12th position, I'm assuming. There's been an accident coming into Dunlop chicane. Let's have a replay of that. On the chopper view of Josh Mills, let's have a look. He's coming around Dunlop curve into Dunlop chicane. Let's see what happens. There was an accident. Is that
Nordman? It's Nordman. Nordman, for some reason, went for a late lunge on a GTE there. Did not realise. Surely he must have realised that Edward there is on the other side of that GTE waiting, and he just comes in way too hot again and takes him out. And I don't like being biased, but that's now 2 accidents that Nordman has caused. And they both do some weird ballet dancing there, and actually Nordman's parked the car.
He has indeed parked the car. but Robert Edward is still driving. Thankfully, he's can't see. Oh, there's a time. No, I don't see any real damage, so he might have gotten away with it.
Might have gone away with it, but I just need to say, Roberto, I think you're a good driver. Can you stop racing the broadcast races? And every time we watch you, something happens. And oh god, there are 2 GTEs in front, and Zaleski wants to make a move on Edward. Oh dear. I thought there was going to be chaos there at the moment, because Zaleski, he wanted that and just decided for a late lunge. And this is some weird driving at the back of the field here with some late lunges happening. Meanwhile, at the front, it's nice and clear. Munoz 4 seconds ahead of Stolzenberg, and Stolzenberg himself is now 7 seconds as Connor Pearson take P3 from James Clay.
By the way, there is some damage on the car of Robert Edward. Let's have a look now. Let's see. He made a move coming down towards the Mulsanne corner. He did make it stick and did not get overtaken by Clay again coming up towards Indianapolis. So Connor Pearson's now mighty comfy in 3rd position as they come through the Porsche curves. He's definitely driving a really good race out there. Congratulations to him, by the way. I think he's about to win that $20 dues.
$20 dude. I'll tell you what though, I've always said it at the start of the season, how Connor doesn't do a lot of extreme moves, doesn't go for a lot of hot big overtakes. He keeps it clean, he keeps it steady, and this is the perfect track for someone that just keeps it consistent and keeps all 4 wheels on the track. As Munoz goes purple with a 319.5. God, if it was 13, it'd be nighttime with the old patch. Pearson with a 21.1. He's the only guy in the 21s with Stolzenberg in the 20s. So these 3 just will now look to try and pull away. But will Clay in that yellow? My God, that is a bright yellow Audi. My God. Well, that's worse than a Weeb livery. Will he get a chance, James, to make a move on Connor? And I'm pretty sure Connor actually, I don't want to give away some trade secrets. A lot of people have like a set boost pattern. Connor has something different. He has something up his sleeve and it just throws everybody off.
You mean he manually boosts?
Everybody manually boosts. I just mean, there are set percentages that people use. 21, 41, 57, 77, 91 to 100 on the straights. A guy like Connor and some of the other guys don't do that like cookie cutter boost pattern. They'll probably use less for the 2nd or 3rd straight, and then use less for the 4th straight, and the final straight put a bit more. They like to basically do something different just to change it up. So a lot of people do different things, and there's the cookie cutter. Pearson doesn't follow that, and then sometimes it does throw you off if you're trying to catch him like Clay right now. He will probably think to himself, I've got to move on Pearson right now, because Pearson will probably not boost a lot, and he might gain some time, James. And then he gets close, and then he can't do anything at the next straight because Pearson's held on to a lot more boost.
As they come up towards HPD traffic, you can see in the background it is Maxon, who I think he's been driving pretty well today. He's up into 5th position, as that is the P2. I think that's oh Pearson doing a little bit of bullying going towards Indianapolis.
I wanted to say Alexis Fedori pitted. The P3 car for the HPD's pitted, so that's for his scheduled stop at the moment. No one in the GTEs has stopped, but you know, he was saying about maybe these 2 guys, Melchers and Koetz, will try to work together to catch up Talvar. I think Talvar's had a slowdown because right behind him right now is Andre Melchers. Right behind him as they come down into the Mulsanne corner is the Melcher. So these leaders are now a 1.5 seconds between them as they go through Mulsanne into it. Is that another slowdown for Talvar?
That is indeed. He's giving up the...
Oh, I just saw it. You go inside those bollards on the inside of Mulsanne. That is a slowdown. So he's lost the lead, but he's still got P2. Nicolas hasn't been able to catch him at the moment. So they're a little bit spread at the moment, 1, 2, and 3. If you call a second and a half spread, but they will gather up again. But Talvar, I think that's 2 slowdowns. Yeah, that's 2 slowdowns in the space of a lap, and he's now lost the lead, and he's in danger of losing P3.
He's sandwiched in between 2 teammates, obviously trying to get the best results for both of them. So he's definitely not in a good position. He needs to try and gain the upper hand by getting back in the lead. He'll probably try and do that on a straightaway, so probably after Tetra Rouge, coming up towards Mulsanne 1, he'll try and do it there as they come through the Porsche curves. He can't really overtake in these sections unless there's either a slowdown or somebody goes wide. But there is no danger of that from Andre Melche. Oh, he did go slightly wide coming out of Porsche curves onto Corvette, but I don't think there's been a slowdown. He might have gotten away with it.
So the key indicator for those watching, the key indicator to see if you get a slowdown as you come out of Porsche there and into the karting S's, is that yellow rumble strip you see. As long as your front tire is on the roadside as you go past them, you're clean. So you can take as much room as you want there, as long as your front left tire is back over onto the main part of the racetrack. That's not a slowdown, and it does catch a lot of people out. I hate that corner. I can never get it right because I'm always worried of that slowdown. So I think he was just okay there. Just to give some times, Melcher 350.8. Talbot records a 52.8. So lost 2 seconds there from those slowdowns, and takes it easy at Turret Rouge this time. And don't tell me Melcher's just had a slowdown. I don't think he did. He got away, just got away with it actually. So yeah, everyone's safe, and the last LMP1 goes by them, so they won't have to deal with LMP1 traffic now for another, I want to say 15 minutes.
Well, you're crossing your fingers at that point, but Rainer Talvar is on the rear end, looking to the left-hand side. He does not make a move. He's sneaking a little look to try and see if he can make it happen, probably within this next section here, and be in between Mulsanne 1 and Mulsanne 2. Nice and flat. He does edge out to his right-hand side. They are too wide. No, just nearly too wide. They're too wide now. Too wide now, going down towards Mulsanne 2. And Melche yields the position. Talvar regains the lead.
Yeah, Melche needed to after everything that happened there. Just keeping an eye on what's happening as we see all 7 of the top let's just call it 8 of the top 9 pitting at the same time right here. I do not know where Fedori comes out after all of this. Where is he? He's just crossing the line as Timo Hayden is coming by. Fedori will not take, hang on 1 second. Let's just work this out. 1 second as Timo gets up to speed. So Fedori goes to the undercut, does not work for him. He is still under a second behind Hayden, but Oscar Cooper is now 4 seconds ahead. Now the question is that a fuel change there? Are they doing different fuel strategies? Because Oscar might be looking at the graph and might be wondering, does he need all that fuel? 17.7 is what the maths is working out, so it's going to be 18 laps. So are they fueling down? Are they taking 4 litres less? Is it 4 litres for an HPD? I know it's 4 litres for an LMP1. Are they taking that much less as Hayden is now in defensive mode? I know that sounds crazy when it's only 0.8 behind, but by the time he gets to the bottom of Mulsanne, that could be 0.3.
The pit stop of Timo Hayden was 2 seconds longer, 2.2 seconds longer than Cooper.
Really? Wow, okay. I love how you get that. I just don't have that on my stats, and it's so handy you've got that. I love it. I don't know why. It's like, I just bring every other bit of information, but the one information I don't have is pit stops, and I'm like, I just want it, but I don't.
Well, there's one solution for that. Get good. As they come into Mulsanne 2. I thought I'd sneak it in as they come into Mulsanne 2. No issues whatsoever, though Hayden's going to have to keep an eye on Fedorov as they come towards the end of the Mulsanne straight. He's not got the distance, he's not closed the distance far enough to make a move in this particular section. I think that might be the star of the show at the moment, Paulo Munoz. In the background, it is.
Timo hit the gravel going into the Mulsanne corner, went sideways and almost collected with the wall. He's lost P2 to Vittori there, but somehow he saved that car from hitting the wall. I thought that was a race ender there for a moment.
Oh, he did. He almost lost it. I went away. I thought there was nothing going to happen. And as I moved the camera away, that exact incident happened. But he's back up to speed now, but he has lost a lot of time to Federo.
So, with the new time model, because I actually started to race this week, I haven't driven these prototypes a lot since the new time model at the start of the season. And someone was telling me, look, if you're struggling with the tyres, you've got to accelerate to rotate the car. And I was realising in the Audi this week, that's what you've got to do. So, on that corner, I don't know what it is. I would have to look back, and Timo would probably tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. He'd jestfully say that, I'd say. You would slow down with the brakes, but you would have to use the accelerator to turn the car. So it could be a case of not enough accelerator, and he's just taken a bit too much curb and just hit the gravel there. That's what it feels like to me. As that looks like a slowdown as well, coming through the karting acid into Corvette. Just wait and see if it is. He might have got away with it, actually. Yes, he did. Munoz pits in front of him, so the leader of the race goes to the pits.
Do any other takers come into the pits this evening?
Yes.
We didn't actually... Yes. Yes,
Sorry.
indeed.
Yeah.
Konstantin Stolzenberg, a guy we haven't actually talked about at all. He is now coming into the pits. A very nice skin, by the way. But he is now coming into the pits behind him. He is in second place. He was only 5 seconds behind Paulo Munoz. But he might not be able to make too much time up. There's a poor pork in the background, just with a lot of mangled bits on him.
And actually, I think everyone's coming in right now. Pearson and Clay, they're right behind each other right now. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong people here. That's Mills and Blackwood. Blackwood took the position from Josh Mills and will go into provisional P5 at the moment. So as they hit the pits, it's Munoz, Stolzenberg, Pearson, Clay, Blackwood and Mills. That is the order right now. I think the only person that has not pitted is Sorberetsky, but he is way back. So everybody in the top 10 has now pitted at the same time. Munoz takes the lead, like we said. Stolzenberg 5 seconds behind. Pearson is 14 behind him, and James Clay is right on his back there. And Pearson with cold tyres goes wide at Dunlop, just lots up there, and Clay's going to say, I'll take that position from you. I'll take that back. So that's going to happen. What about behind them? Mills did take P5 from Sam Blackwood. Yes, that's right. So those two there, the teammates there, battling it out. Blackwood wants a move coming out of Paul Dunlop. Does not get it. He wants that position back. So we've seen 2 positional changes coming out of the pits in the LMP1. So this is shaping up again to be some great action.
We've got a message from Brandon Wilson who says, what happened to Ishmael? He was in a fight with Nordman, the car number 31, as they were coming, and he overtook Nordman. Then coming down into Indy, Nordman was on the outside, going towards the inside of Indianapolis. Dove way too far and way too late. Slid on Indianapolis, causing Ishmael to have to run wide. To Ishmael, there was nothing he could do. And they both hit the wall, and I think Ishmael was just too annoyed to continue racing, because he flashed his lights, and he was obviously very agitated that Nordman made such a very risky move and very dangerous move coming into such a corner and parked the car.
Just want to give an update right now. The GTEs, the top 4 have all pitted. Melchers took the lead from Talvar again, and Nicholas Coates behind them as well. And it's amazing how they all left at the same time as they came out the pits. So it's going to be half a second lead there for Melchers, half a second lead from Coates for Talvar. So these guys again are just stayed together. These 3 have been together all race, and through slowdowns, through traffic, through everything. They've been fine. As I say that, Coates gets a slowdown at Dunlop. I need to shut up.
You've been cursing too many people today with slowdowns.
Yeah, welcome to Le Mans. Right, right. Okay.
You just sounded like you were defeated.
Oscar Cooper is coming up to Dunlop. He's in the lead. He is not going to get a slowdown through Dunlop as he takes the first part of the chicane, take the second part. He does not get a slowdown. In your face, commentator's curse. I just had to do that.
I think you're going to curse him again and make sure that he gets a slowdown coming out of Tete Rouge. Guarantee it. As he is now
what happened in front of him? There was a GTE crash in front of him. Sorry, that is Reese Newland on his spun around there. Sorry, just wanted to see what happened. Lost it actually at the S's there, and does he collect another guy? He collects Christopher Hyman in the grass just as they go around. So that was P5 and P7 having a crash there.
And we see it on the replay there. He holds the brakes, and I think, what was the other car now? Car number 19 was the car of Reese Newland, who was the Porsche that he hit, or that was...
I think it was Christopher Hyman. Yeah, Christopher Hyman, the 18, and he's got massive. Basically, as what's the rugby referee? Nigel Owen would say, from a wing like that, I'm straighter than that. That's how bent his wing is right now, poor Hyman.
And there was a very unfortunate accident, of course. Not really much. It can try and dive onto the inside, but when you're carrying such speed and the GTEs, there's not much you can really do other than follow the line. And he's definitely got some damage. He's still going though. Let's see now if Reese is still going. He is indeed. I don't see much damage on the rear end, but I do see a bit of damage to his right front side. Not too much, so he seems to have gotten away with. it, but he is now down in, I think that is 11th position at the moment.
Let's just go back quickly to the LMP battle for the final podium spot. Pearson did take P3 back as James Clay hits the cone going into the second chicane. I'm not sure what sponsor has this now. Is it Microsoft, or I'm not entirely sure who has the name of that second chicane anymore, but Clay is trying to catch up to Pearson, and again it's this boost battle, and that's what I like about Le Mans with the LMP1s in iRacing, because we control the boost. Everybody's got their own way. Hits another cone. He might have a slowdown there. He hit the bollard. No, gets away with it. But now he waits to move. But again, I think Pearson is just going to pull away. And this will be the same for the rest of the time now. Actually, Clay is gaining, but it's just not enough to get side by side before Indy. He wants to bait it, and does a good bait, but he doesn't really gain much from it. But he's smart enough not to go for it. You have to go side by side before you get to the Indy turn if you are going to do that move, and you can't really send it, as we saw earlier. Behind them, just want to say behind them as well, Josh Mills holding on to P5 from Blackwood. They went side by side. They're going side by side from Arnage almost. Does hold it. How close were they? Indy, not very close, but again, it's these two battles. And actually, I think the best thing is that's a battle between teammates. So that's what I like about it.
And Gerber. Gerber's now the third wheel. The third wheel. He's now wobbling behind them. You know, when you go to the shops and you have a trolley, there's always the one wheel that's always wobbling. Yeah, the wobbler is Gerber. He is the wild card in this case.
Yeah, I'm glad you said the wild card and not the third wheel, because I feel quite depressed for him, because nobody wants to be a third wheel in any situation. Let's be honest. I mean, but I just want to say, we've got Victor Gert in front of them. That will slow things down, because, yeah, there we go. Welcome to a train. This is traffic at Le Mans. All three of them will get past him as they boost at the start-finish line. But they've all just slowed down there, and the person who loses out from that is Mills, because he gets a good lead. But the others unable to make an early move. In fact, Gerber's had to hit the brakes because Blackwood is so slow. with the boost there. Doesn't lose a lot of time. That was interesting, actually. Blackwood not using a lot more boost there. Must have used a bit more boost on that last lap just to try and make an advantage, but still keeps it there. And like you said, it's these three now battling it out, and that's kind of good because in the GTEs, the top three have now just split away from everybody, and now they've just decided they've had enough of their fun. Melchers is almost 2 seconds ahead of Talvar, and likewise to Talvar on Nicholas Coates. So that's the leaders for you, and the only way, and I'm saying this with my fingers crossed, I'm about to touch the wood, the only way that the race can get brought back together is if one of them has a slowdown. Touch wood.
Yeah, there we go. I touched the wood for you. Back check from the YouTube comments. He's saying, let's go Paolo. I think Paolo has a lot of fans in this race, or in this particular case. I've never seen so many people cheering on a particular driver. Definitely Munoz is definitely he's up and away. Really, he's 4 seconds ahead of Stolzenberg, who, while putting in consistent laps all race, he has not been able to match his times, and is he's catching up to him now. He's closed the gap to about 4 seconds. It's the first time that he has actually done that.
Look at the times that they've done. Munoz has just done 21s. Oh, hello. There's Timo Hayden. Timo Hayden is in the wall. What happened there? Oh, he clipped the rumble strip and gravel coming out of Indy. Did he hit the wall? Oh, Timo Hayden. That's twice. That is twice. How do you do this?
Let's have a look.
And then he almost goes off on Arch. Oh my god. He is dicing with death today, isn't he?
He just very, very close call there as Munoz passes him by on the replay. I think poor Hayden's just needs to calm his mind, just get focused, bring it back in. He's got this in hand. He just needs to clear any agitations he has in his mind of, oh, I made that mistake. He just needs to focus. He's definitely got the skill. He just needs to focus. Let's have a look now. Coming through Ford curves, or Ford chicane, sorry.
So I was about to say, just want to see the time he lost there. How far back is he now on Fedori? He's 8 seconds behind Alexis Fedori. So he lost about 3 seconds in that whole incident there. So, I mean, that's what he could be worried about. He could be trying to push because he has had some better lap times. They have been matching lap times, but it's just those little mistakes that have cost Hayden during this race. So he might be able to do something, but it's 11, just under 12 minutes left in the race. So it's the equivalent of 3 laps. I don't think there's much left in the tank. He would need a unfortunate miracle. We don't really want to see that, touch wood. So pretty sure he's just going to be holding on to P3 right now and just, like you say, just take a breath, just relax. Don't need to push the car. You're lapping faster than Myers behind you. You're 13 seconds ahead of him. Just relax.
Coming past, I think that is the first Mulsanne they just came by. We're pointing the cameras at Rainer Talvar in the number 2 car. He's chasing down Kurtz, who's in the number 3 car. He's currently in 2nd place. They were fighting as they were coming into Mulsanne 1, but then the HPD of Federo basically held them up as they come out of Mulsanne 2 nice and flat.
Might want to look at a replay of what happened to Talvar, because Talvar was a second and a half ahead there of Kurtz there. And we saw that crash earlier with Reese just after the S's before Turt Rouge. Talvar had a similar situation, too much curve on the bollard part of the S's, as they call it, and actually went onto the grass and just missed clipping the barrier, but had a slow entry into Turt Rouge, and Nicholas has decided, I'll take it. So Talvar has taken, as I like to call, a joker lap and actually lost time there. So they're now 5 seconds behind Melchers there, as Talvar, with the speed now coming down the Gulf Straight here, side by side going into Indy. Who will let off here? There's 10 minutes left Kurt, sorry, does lift off there like he has before, and just wisely gives it up there. So he is now back into P3, but Talvar, I don't think he did not hit the wall on my screen, so he won't have any damage. But that will play in your head that you've messed up at the S's before Turk Rouge.
As you can see, Timo Hayden's coming by them, coming out of Ascari, coming towards the Porsche curves. Clears the both of them as he tries to make his way back up towards the rear end of Fuddery. Nice and flat through the Porsche curves and no issues whatsoever. Let's have a look, shall we, at the rest of the field and see who are the biggest winners. I think you have one in particular that you'd like to mention.
Do I? Sorry, I was just looking at something else. Do I have someone I'd like to mention? I haven't been paying attention, if I'm honest.
Well, you have to kind of keep it up.
It's been so back and forth this race. It's hard to keep up. And there's not a lot of like big movers this race. In fact, usually we're talking about a guy that's not qualified and like gained 7 or 8 spots. Well, the only person that's really gained the most spots this race is car number 17, the Sim Racing Channel Porsche of Justin Rem, who didn't qualify. Started 11th in the field for the GTEs. He's up to P6, and with only with basically no retirements. All right, one retirement, Delgado. He's done that all on speed. So yeah, that's the big mover. He's also the second Porsche in the field, so that's the only big mover of the race. I wanted to point out as well, while I was looking, you caught me off track there because I was looking because James Clay took P3 back from Connor Pearson and has held it for a few laps. While did Blackwood just get a slowdown? We'll wait to see that in a minute. You might got a slowdown there as he's got Gerber behind him. Josh Mills is now behind them by 2 seconds, so he must have had an incident or a slowdown. It's all happening at the back of the field, these little pockets right now. Clay making more moves on Pearson. I don't think he's damaged, but how come Connor's just a little bit slow right now? It's a bit interesting. Must keep an eye on that.
He's still within a second, so he's still within slipstream of James Clay, so maybe he's just trying to save fuel. Maybe he underfueled. Could be a possibility. But the pit stop timers don't support it. They had similar pit stop times, so unless he's got floor damage, which is a big possibility at Le Mans, it can happen. He just gets random floor damage out of nowhere. But hopefully he has nothing of the sort as they come around Mulsanne. You can see Timo Hayden's in between the two of them. He lets them by. I think Hayden's got another slowdown coming through either Mulsanne 2 or on the corner of Mulsanne itself.
Must have done. Let's just have a look. Let's have a quick peek at that. Looks like he probably took way too much curb. Yeah, that was a slowdown. Way too much curb there. Pearson's gained time here on Clay. That's good to see. Blackwood holding off Gerber. He'll take the inside line. Let's just keep it on this. They're coming into Indianapolis. They're side by side, but Blackwood has the inside. They go side by side around the first part of Indy. Gerber yields and gives it to Blackwood. Textbooks racing by both of those guys there, keeping it safe. Gerber, I think he wanted to just ask the question to Blackwood. As they stay in Australia, just force the issue there. And it didn't really work out for him, but Gerber, it's not the end of the race, not the end of his battle. He will keep fighting. This is for P5. So this is just a big battle because we all know iRacing stat tracks your top 5. So I always like to look out for the battle for P5 just because of that.
Nice and flat, both of them go, and it's the battle for 5th at the moment as they come out, just out of the Porsche curves, in towards Corvette and on towards the Ford chicanes. He probably won't be able to make a move at this point, so he'll have to wait until either Blackwood slips up and allows the position to be gained, or tries to do a boost gain down towards Mulsanne 1 coming out of Tetra Rouge and use the slipstream advantage he will have if he sticks to the rear end of him.
Did a 321.6, Gerber a 322 flat. So not really getting any advantage there, Gerber. You could argue that half a second he lost was because he was slowing down as they were going side by side into Indy. So not really much you can take from those times. It will, like Rob said, will come down to the straight, and you've got to be careful if you want to overboost on these straights, because then you have to remember you're going to be compromised for other straights. So we will wait and see if they can hit the 330 as fast as they can. That will help them, and let's just see who gets there first. 322 right now for Blackwood, 324. Gerber's matching him, probably a little bit slower. Actually, no, sorry, Gerber's got the speed. He doesn't have a lot of slipstream. He's got about 3 kilometers more speed. That really doesn't pay into much difference there, but will help. A little bit of a rock and roll there onto the first rumble strip of the first Mulsanne chicane there. Again, now Blackwood will boost. Where is Gerber? It's going to be 0.8. Again, let's watch the speed, and it actually looks this time that Blackwood's got the speed advantage. Yep, he's got the speed by about 5 kilometers an hour there. So he will get the he will win round 2. Let's go for all the marbles so they go down to the end here. I'm pretty sure Gerber will not be able to outboost Blackwood here, so I think it's going to be a win there for Blackwood there. He actually does not lose a lot of time on those straights.
Let's have a look then at back into the GTEs. Definitely is a great day for GTEs. You've got the P2, P3 battle of Kurz and Talvar. The two of them have been fighting really for the last 4 or 5 laps ever since they came out of the pits.
Oh, did Talvar get a slowdown there? No, just got away with it. He almost got a slowdown there. But just looking, where is Munoz? I just want to check with Munoz. He is at the Porsche curve, coming down into the karting S's, and there is 2 minutes 50 on the clock. So he'll cross the line and he will start the final lap. So the white flag will be waving as Munoz comes around. The last lap of broadcasted racing for us this season is about to happen. Munoz with a 5-second lead on Zelensky. James Clay with a second lead on Connor Pearson in P3. They don't have to worry about trying to catch the leaders because they are so far behind. And we also look down as well. Gerber does take P6 from Blackwood. It keeps P6 with Blackwood there in P5. There's your top 6 right now, the battles. Munoz dips into the 18s. As Stolzenberg goes, I want to just make you sweat a little bit on the white flag, and does a 3:19.5. Munoz does a 3:18.6. So that is what's happening there, as we also see 3.5 second lead for Oscar Copper from Adorius. They've now come to the start-finish line. That shouldn't be anything to worry about there. But what about the GTEs? They're not even close to the line at the moment. Melchers is 4 seconds ahead of Kurtz, and Kurtz is just a little bit ahead of Talvar. This is the battle we want to be fighting. We've got 3 battles we're going to be trying to watch in the next 3 minutes.
They were on each. I was watching the entire thing. Talvar was just almost bumper to bumper to Kurtz coming towards Indianapolis, coming out of Mulsanne corner. He really wanted to make the move, but he didn't. He just decided to say, nope, not having it. But he's only got 1 more lap to really, really make a move either way as they come around for their final lap, the GTEs. It is the final lap for the GTEs.
Let's just look at the times. 51.5 for Melcher in the lead, a 50.7 for Kurtz, and a 50.8 for Talvar. So advantage Kurtz as well. At the same time, James Clay went green, 3:20.5, with Connor Pearson half a second behind him as he is trying to pull away. Pearson is trying to claw everything he's got on these straights. What's happening with the battle between Blackwood and Mills? Blackwood and Gerber, sorry, forget about it. 1.5 seconds lead is Blackwood. I would say that he does have P5 wrapped up here. The HPDs, there's nothing to worry about. 3 seconds between Copper and Midori. Unless Copper is really fuel saving, I can't really see it, but he was a second slower than Alexis on that last lap. So let's just, that could be an interesting finish there on the HPDs if he really is low on fuel. But back to the GTEs, I think, Rob.
Indeed, back to the GTE. Look And oh no, on the
what's happened?
on the last lap, Talvar has overtaken Kutz, and now Kutz has lost the position, and he is stuck between the car number 38. Car number 38 being Peter Guerrels. He was stuck in the middle of the two of them as they were coming up to Mulsanne 1, as in the background an LP1 makes a move. Who is that? That's actually Robert Edward being overtaken by Sobolewski as they come towards Mulsanne 2. Oh, and I think I know why, because the big old crunch on the front left of Edward's car, I think he has a good bit of damage, and I think he picked it. Oh, is almost coming to contact with each other coming out of the second Mulsanne, because the Ferrari of Nicholas Kutz was holding the wide line, and well, Robert Edward had to slow up for Sobolewski.
Pablo Munoz takes the win. Just as you were going over that, takes the win in the race for the final time this season for us. Zelensky takes P2, and Clay holds off Pearson. Pearson had nothing in the tank. Blackwood will be coming round to the corner. He is 2 seconds ahead of Gerber. He will take the P5 here, with Gerber taking P6. Now, where's the HPD? Actually, right behind Gerber. There's Oscar Copper. He was fuel saving. He is a second behind him is Alexis Fedori, and he does save it. That must have been 4 seconds he lost on that last lap. What was the time? 35, and Fedori must have done a 32, so about 3 seconds there. Let's keep our eyes on now the GTEs. Talbot took P2 away from Kurtz there, as they are down to the final straight there before they come into Porsche.
This is it. This is the final battle of the day. Will Kutz try and make a move into the Ford chicanes? He has to get right up behind Talvar. Talvar has to make a mistake in the Porsche cars, because that's the real last position. He can make one, or he can make a mistake coming onto the main straight from Ford chicanes. He's nice and flat through. He's nice and flat through the Porsche cars, coming onto the Corvette section now, passing that just fine, no issues there. Kurtz looks onto the inside of Talvar as they come through Ford chicanes. I don't think there's much between them. The two of them have
neck and neck.
Oh, no, he doesn't have enough. But that was a great effort from Talvar, a very great effort.
What a finish, though. And I was watching Kurtz there at the end, and he wasn't hitting the brakes as he was going around that last bit of the karting S's. I was getting a lot of speed there, but just unlucky. Timo Hayden, the P3 driver there, just mentioned he had a bit too much understeer on his set, but I'm pretty sure what's happened to Josh Mills. He had a bit of. If you could just watch the two guys from I think it's OCM, or is it RWBY? These guys. That's Mills, that's Blackwood, that's Pearson. I think this is great fun. You need to watch this right now. The three of them going down the Mulsanne straight in a procession. This is beautiful. And then they just decide, you know what? I'm going to start weaving, goes Connor Pearson. He gets tagged behind. This is afterwards, and they all go barreling into the tyre barriers at the PlayStation chicane. But that's a nice little three-wide procession there by these guys. These guys, they're not the top drivers by no means, and I don't mean that horrible. And they'll say it themselves. They're not the top LMP1 drivers, but they're there. If you had a tier system of teams in LMP1, I think that they would be that team that is just pushing the tier 2 boundary into tier 1. And these three guys have raced all season for us. All season they've come into a broadcast. Or maybe all three of them, sometimes two, maybe one. They had a chance at a 1-2-3 earlier this season, didn't get it. I've got to give a shout out to these guys because they have supported this broadcast race all season, and I can't thank them enough.
I do like to give the when Josh Mills did that little dance through the tire barrier, he literally went directly through it. Great thing, iRacing.
I thought that was just brilliant, though. That was just a great little. You could tell they had a bit of fun with that one.
Do you want to go through the race results then?
Yeah. I will go through the race results. So, the winner of the LMP, well, the overall race and the LMP1, car number 11, Paulo Munoz, about 5.5 seconds behind him. Konstantin Solzenberg will take P2. James Clay held off Connor Pearson by 1.5 seconds at the end for P3, with Pearson, of course, P4. Sam Blackwood managed to get a late surge there to defend his P5 against Alexander Gerber. P6 was Gerber and P7 was Josh Mills. Richard Stoletsky was P8. Roberto Edward, after his accident, went to pits and got P9. Tyler Maxson started off strong but fell back to P10. Willie Schwarzbauer didn't say a lot about him this race, but he got a P11, and we did have 2 retirements. Till Nordman, who was 11 laps back, and Ismail Yakubu, 12 laps back.
It's a shame what happened to Yakubu as well.
It was in the HPDs. We talked about it. Oscar Copper had the race sealed up, but then had to do some fuel saving at the end, but did come home with the win in just under a second. Alexis Fedori. Behind him, Timo Hayden, who said it himself, just had a setup that just was a bit too much for him and was losing it, but did take P3. Those 3 were in a league of their own today. Jamie Lee Mayers took P4. Maria Holweck behind him 5. Peter Grauers took P6 with Victor Gert in 7th. Martin Statman, Mikael Balnek, Davis Braun, and 2 retirements. We had Loic Guriaru and Suilo Almeida, with the only 2 retirements in the HPDs.
It was a very clean race between the HPDs, by the way. Hayden, of course, having an unfortunate misstep twice in the same sort of area. Coming out of the Mulsanne corner, he had an accident. Well, not even an accident, just an incident. He just lost control of the car coming out of it onto the gravel, then onto the grass. Almost hit the wall and collected the person he was battling with for 2nd place, then losing it, and then coming in towards Ascari, just coming out of Indy. He had another accident where he lost control of the car.
Sorry, Ascari? This isn't Monza, my friend.
Oh. I call it Ascari.
I'll quickly go over the GTE results. We know Andre Melcher took the win. Rainier Talva held off the battle from Nicholas Kurtz. I apologize for 3rd there. Jorge Barrio took P4. So basically, the cars number 1, 2, 3, and 4 finished 1, 2, 3, and 4. Car number 7, Nicholas Askov, took P5. Justin Wren took 6. Pablo Arajo, the 3rd, was behind, followed by Alexandru Reneniu. I apologize for that. Christopher Heinemann, Manuel Fidalgo, Reese Newland, Andres Delgado. I was just to say, Reese Newland did have an incident earlier with, I believe it was Justin Rem, but they both finished, it's still in the contention there in the pack. So Reese Newman there was 3rd from last. Andres Delgado did crash early on, was 9 laps down, so about 7 laps down from the GTEs. And Martin Najic never took the start.
What was your driver of the day, though? There has to be. We have to end this on the driver of the day.
Oh, my driver of the day. You know what? I have to give it to Rainier Talva. Because let's be honest, with how back and forth, you know what? I want to give it to all 3 of those guys at the front of the GTEs, but I think with the battle Talvar did, because he had the lead, lost the lead, had to go to P3, came back to P2, had a chance for the lead. I mean, all of those guys could have had that win. I think Talvar, he's a bit unlucky there with some of his incidents there with the slowdown. So, yeah, you know what? Let's give it to Rainier Talva. Drove a fantastic race. All 3 of them did. You've got to give it to one of those. And I think Talva really just did what he could. And you got to understand, there is a 2,000 iRacing difference between Melchers and Talva. So for there to only be that much difference between those 2 in the race at the end of it, hats off to Talva.
And I would personally give a shout out to the 2 guys on the same team, and that is Andre Melcher and Nicholas Kutz. The 2 of them drove a really good race today, and they were definitely the three of them, including Talvar, were definitely battling it out, especially during the second half of the race when they both exited the pit, or all three of them exited the pits at near the same time, within about a second of each other. And it had been a fight for at least 10 or 15 minutes. A good, strong fight until the car of Andre Melche just pulled away, and the two of them were left to duke it out for second and third.
I just want to say while we're here, because we are at Le Mans, and the patch notes, as we know, season 3 is starting in a couple of weeks. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that soon. There has been a change to Le Mans for the racetrack, and actually, I think anyone listening would probably say, "Oh, it's about time." They have changed the pace car from season 3. The pace will not pull in like he does. We were talking about it earlier. He pulls in really early, the pace car. It goes down the normal pit lane, which can cause a black flag if the leader wants to catch everybody out. They fixed that for next season.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been caught out by it myself. And I will say though, and this will cause a bit of moans, I'm looking no tyre changes to no tyre changes to the LMP ones. All the HPDs actually.
Well, let's hope they implement them soon. Well, didn't they already get the tyre change, or am I just dreaming?
They did, but I think a lot of people were saying much. In fact, none of the GTE cars are getting any tyre changes, which is a bit of a surprise because I know there's been a lot of people having comments about the GTE tyres. I haven't driven them enough to make a comment, I must be honest, but with the prototypes, I think they've got it pretty well done with the tyres from a personal standpoint. But it's going to be the same next season. But I will say that there is one big thing happening next season, don't you? We've got a leap season.
Yes, we do. An extra week, so we'll be running for 13 weeks next season. We hope you guys join us then. We are absolutely psyched to see 13 weeks of, well, ILMS madness, really. We hope you guys have been enjoying the second season. The prizes will go out, the $20 prizes will go out over the next few days. I'll be PMing the guys who have won the $20 redos and asking them how they want it. We'll be doing it the same thing again next season, as it's a nice thing to give people an incentive to race on the broadcasts. But for the final time this season, what do you say, Craig?
Well, I was just about to tell everyone where we're racing next season, because it's going to be it's going to be a big season next season. Not just because it's 13 weeks. I mean, we're going to Silverstone, we're going to Le Mans. Of course, we're going to Le Mans because there's going to be the 24 hours of Le Mans. We're seeing Imola back into the race schedule this year, which is fantastic. We're seeing Road Atlanta come in for the first time in I'm not sure how long. But the big news is when it comes to week 8, everybody will be racing. It will be one of the craziest weeks you will see. And it's not Bathurst, it's the Nürburgring, because the big boys are going back to the green hell. And all I can say is, I cannot wait in 2 months' time when we see that.
The green hell. Do you have much experience with the green hell?
No. Actually, I must be honest, I don't think I have it on iRacing. I'm sorry.
You disappoint me. But
forgive.
What do we say to the ladies and gentlemen after we've ended the stream?
I say goodbye, Craig, and I love every one of you, and keep safe.
Thanks for joining in, guys. We appreciate all of you. Hope you guys have an absolutely great week 13, whatever you do. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time to broadcast all over again. If you'd like to submit your opinions onto what we do here at the broadcasting channel, please go to the ILMS Discord. Let them know. There's a form there you can fill out to share your opinion. Well, until next week, take care, guys. Enjoy yourselves.